We have 4 potential number 1 contenders for Drew McIntyre's undisputed WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles is going to put his career on the line against Gunther, and there were 2 big title defences in Belfast on Raw. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE What Mattered. Starting off with SmackDown, and Drew McIntyre received a hero's welcome in London as he made his entrance in front of the British crowd to welcome the first and only British WWE champion. However, the mood quickly changed as he told fans, "Screw you," and where were they when the Bloodline was screwing him over and when CM Punk was making his life hell? He also reiterated that there is no rematch clause for Cody Rhodes, which didn't come as much as a surprise because we know that Cody is not involved in the number 1 contenders qualifying matches, which I'll come on to in a bit. Drew was then interrupted by none other than Randy Orton, which does not come as much as a surprise considering last week on SmackDown he did talk to Cody, who was then WWE champion, and said that he had his eyes on the title and that he was coming for it. Before long, Jacob Fatu made an appearance and attacked Drew McIntyre, who then fled the arena, which left Randy Orton alone in the ring, and then The Miz slipped in and attacked Orton, hitting him with a skull-crushing finale which led right into their match, which was one of the 4 qualifying matches for the number 1 contenders fatal 4-way match at Saturday night's main event to determine who was going to face Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble for the undisputed WWE Championship. Orton won that match, which I think we all expected, which means he is the first man that was inserted into that fatal 4-way. Cody then cut a promo where he became the first person to declare for the men's Royal Rumble match, and he also said that he owed Jacob Fatu a receipt for costing him the championship last week against Drew. Later on in the night, Jacob Fatu brutally beat down Kit Wilson and then called out Cody Rhodes, who soon made his way again back into the arena. That led to them having a brawl, which has ultimately set up now a singles match between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu this weekend at Saturday night's main event. One of the other number 1 contender qualifying matches was between the big NXT call-up Trick Williams and the recently returning Matt Cardona, which was a really interesting matchup considering Trick is already coming across as a big star on the main roster, and a lot of people are obviously very happy to see Matt Cardona back in WWE and excited to see what he does, but it was Trick Williams that won this match and qualified for the Fatal 4-Way. The next qualifying match we saw on SmackDown was between Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa. There was interference in this match from the Wyatt Six, which ultimately allowed Damian Priest to get the win and furthered the storyline between the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. I have to be completely honest with you, as somebody that watches SmackDown every week, I really do not have any investment at all in either the MFTs or the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six, as much as it's a really cool concept and it's paying homage to the late great Bray Wyatt, it just doesn't resonate with me. Plus, their booking hasn't helped at all. They'll be on TV, then they'll disappear for weeks, if not months on end. I think their debut on the main roster was fantastic, but since then it's just been really start, stop, start, stop. It's really killed their momentum. And honestly, the MFTs are coming off as a bit of a joke. I liked the initial storyline where Solo was trying to take over the bloodline and create his own new bloodline. That obviously all got resolved ultimately with Solo losing to Roman Reigns on the Netflix debut on Monday Night Raw last year. And since then, he's obviously been building up My Family Tree, this new stable, but it's just never really worked for me. Again, the booking doesn't help them here. They never really seem to win. They come across like clowns. The war paint for me just didn't work, didn't make them seem more intimidating to me at all. It just reminded me of like a French mime artist more than anything else. I think Solo Sikoa's talents really lie in being actually a comedy babyface. We have kind of seen that side of him a few times when he's been cutting promos as part of MFT, and we've also seen some clips from house shows go around on social media, and he's got really great comedic timing, so I really hope that WWE at some point realises this is where his talent lies, because for me, he just doesn't come across as this big, huge, credible threat. But moving on to the final qualifying match of the evening, and it was between Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. This was by far the best in-ring match of the night, as you would expect. 2 great in-ring performers, and Sami Zayn ultimately won the match and booked his slot in the Fatal 4-Way match at Saturday night's main event. Which means that the Fatal 4-Way to determine Drew McIntyre's first challenger for the undisputed WWE Championship is between Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest and Sami Zayn. I'm really intrigued to see who wins this match. I think Sami Zayn's going to play a huge role at the Royal Rumble regardless, especially with it being in Saudi Arabia. I think he's either going to have a big performance and potentially win the Royal Rumble, or if he's not in the Royal Rumble match, it'll be because he wins this Fatal 4-Way at Saturday night's main event and will be challenging Drew for the WWE title. Before moving on to Monday Night Raw, if you have enjoyed this video so far, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, as this is a series that I'm going to be posting every Friday. Raw kicked off with the ring general Gunther declaring himself for the Royal Rumble match. I've been of the opinion that I don't think Gunther should be in either the Royal Rumble match or the Men's Elimination Chamber match unless you're going to have him win, because of the fact he retired John Cena, made him tap out, and now he's this force of nature that's probably going to go on a run of retiring more superstars going forward, which we'll come on to a bit later. He was interrupted by AJ Styles, who wants a rematch against Gunther after the contentious finish to their match last week, where Gunther tapped out and the referee didn't see it, with him ultimately able to get the win over AJ. Gunther refused, not once but twice. He said he's already proven he's the better professional wrestler, completely rage baiting the audience, who were right there in the moment booing the crap out of him. AJ accused him of being scared, which led to Gunther accepting the rematch, on the condition that AJ Styles puts his career on the line. AJ had until the end of the night to make this decision, and I'll tell you up front, he did accept it, so it is going to be Gunther against AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, and if AJ loses, he's going to retire. Now, we know AJ is going to retire in 2026, however, I don't think personally he's going to be at the Royal Rumble. I think this is very clever booking here from WWE, because you've put Gunther in the Rumble match, and like I was just saying, I think he has to win it. However, a good way in kayfabe to stop Gunther winning the Royal Rumble, it could have been simply just having AJ eliminate him in the match to carry on their feud, but I think this is even better because by running this match before the Royal Rumble match, because the men's Royal Rumble match is likely going to main event the show, it means that Gunther's already been through a tough match against AJ Styles, which means he's going to go into the Rumble match not 100%. I think it would be an even better decision if they put Gunther in relatively early, as this means he has to go even longer to win the match. One of the big title matches in Belfast was Maxine Dupree challenging Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Maxine was accompanied to the ring by Natalya, who of course has been helping her train and prepare for these big matches against Becky, and did contribute to Maxine winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship a few weeks ago. Now, there was a point in this match where Maxine had it won involving an exposed turnbuckle, which Becky had exposed earlier on in the match. She was going to pin Becky and win the IC title again, but Natalya on the outside of the ring actually put Becky's foot on the bottom rope, which stopped the count. Maxine couldn't believe it and was very shocked, which led to Becky being able to take advantage and retain her championship. I think this was the right decision for everybody involved. It's been good for Maxine to get a taste of gold. I think she's definitely improved, having been in this feud with Becky Lynch. It's clear to see that her in-ring work has improved over the last 12 months, but particularly I think her promos have improved. You know, she's a very natural, likeable babyface, somebody that you want to root for. But I particularly think in the last month, 2 months or so, the promos that she's giving are much, much stronger. Although this heel turn was fairly predictable, I think it's safe to say most of us saw it coming. I think it's the right thing to do. It allows Becky now to move on and presumably have a feud with AJ Lee leading into WrestleMania, and it allows Maxine to then go off now and have a separate feud with Natalya. We then got a very short moment from Jey Uso, who made his entrance into the crowd, cut a quick promo to say that he's declaring for the Royal Rumble, and then left. I think the commentators were trying to hype up the fact that he didn't run this decision by Jimmy as well, but this did feel quite rushed. There were then more declarations for the Royal Rumble, this time on the women's side, with all 3 female members of the Judgment Day declaring, being Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, and also we got both Rhea Ripley and Io Sky also declaring for the match. And this is of course ahead of their scheduled match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship at Saturday night's main event, where Liv and Roxanne are going to be challenging Rio. I normally wouldn't be talking about this match at all in this series, as this is really talking about what mattered this week in WWE, but there was a quick match between Javon Evans and El Grande Americano. However, the match had to be called off because Javon Evans is seemingly legitimately injured. So of course, I wish him all the best. He's a hugely talented guy, and I hope we see him back on our TV screen soon. There was then a backstage segment between Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman, which set up next week, where Bron Breakker is going to be on Raw to have a face-to-face discussion with Adam Pearce regarding his suspension. As we know at the moment, he's suspended indefinitely. I'm assuming next week that suspension is going to be lifted, because I do not see a world where Bron Breakker is not in the men's Royal Rumble match. Then we move on to the main event between Finn Balor in his home country of Northern Ireland, challenging CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Finn made his entrance first, and there was one hell of a pleasant surprise because he came out to his original WWE theme. This is a million times better than the Judgment Day remix theme that he's got at the moment, and it really goes to show just how important presentation is in WWE. I know he was in front of his home crowd, so he was going to get a loud pop anyway, but Finn coming out to this original theme, you know, to use kind of modern slang, it gave him so much aura. And the crowd was so loud that he actually missed the cue for his first pose when the lights flashed, because he just couldn't hear the music. It was a really enjoyable match between Punk and Balor, with both of them kicking out of each other's finishes. Punk being able to kick out of the coup de grace and Finn being able to kick out of the GTS. But eventually it was CM Punk that retained the World Heavyweight Championship after hitting Finn with a second GTS. I know a lot of people wanted Finn to win, I can completely understand that. I do think you were being a bit naive though if you thought they were just going to put the World Heavyweight Championship randomly on Finn. Let's be honest, they gave him this championship match because it was in Northern Ireland in front of his home crowd. Same reason we had Becky on the card defending her IC Championship. However, I have to say it was the most I've enjoyed a Finn Balor match in years. I think I mentioned it in last week's video, but I gave up all hope on Finn Balor winning a World Championship a long time ago. But I do think this could be the start of something better for him. I don't think he's going to get pushed into that main event scene, but the aftermath of the match did look like an upcoming babyface turn from Finn, as he allowed CM Punk to raise his hand in front of his home crowd. It was a great performance from Finn. The crowd played their part, but I think just giving him this presentation back, I'm hoping it's here to stay. It will do wonders for him. I promise you it will do wonders for him. It's going to get more people behind him again, and hopefully he can be around that mid-card scene, potentially having a feud with Dominic Mysterio and maybe winning the Intercontinental Championship. As we've seen, Liv Morgan is back now, so she's taking the reins of the Judgment Day and trying to control everything and make sure everybody is doing what she wants. So I think it makes perfect sense for Finn to get out of the Judgment Day, as it does for Judgment Day to carry on without Finn Balor. I'm assuming they're going to kick him out at some point, which will just help gain sympathy for Finn, and I think that works best for both parties. But of course, that's just my opinion. Please let me know below in the comments section. What do you think? Do you think Finn should have won the World Heavyweight Championship? Do you think it would be a good thing for him to be kicked out of Judgment Day, or do you think he should remain with them and really help push that stable forward? And who do you guys think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Please let me know below. Thank you for watching this week's episode of This Week in WWE What Mattered. As I mentioned earlier on, if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to the channel or like the video. Drop a comment below. Anything you can do would really help me start to grow this new channel and really build an audience. The idea of this series is, of course, to discuss what I think really mattered in the previous week in WWE. With that in mind, next week's episode is probably going to be a bit longer than normal because I've got to consider Raw and SmackDown and, of course, Saturday night's main event, which we have this Saturday. At the time of recording, there are only 3 matches on that card. I'm presuming at least 1 more will be added, but the matches we've got so far on that card are the WWE Women's Championship match between Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, the singles match between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, and the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship between Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Right, thanks one more time for watching, really appreciate it. See you next week.